Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nurin Mardiana Humaira binti Ruslan and I am from CDCS 2514A. In this video, I will show you the demonstration of attacks on DEM vulnerable web application, or also known as DVWA. So what is actually DVWA? DVWA is a PHP or MySQL web application that is DEM vulnerable. Its main goals is to be an aid for security professionals to test their skills and tools in a legal environment. Next, to help web developers better understand the processes of securing web application. And lastly, to aid teachers or students to teach or learn web application security. DVWA allows us to practice some of the most common web vulnerabilities with various levels of difficulty. To open the DVWA, first we need to type in localhost/DVWA, and then we will be directed to the login page. Then, we need to insert our username and password and log in. So, here is the homepage of the DVWA website. Before we proceed on doing the attack, we need to set the difficulty level on low. On the left side, we can see the different attacks we can try, but in this video, I will show you two attacks. The first attack that I will be demonstrating is SQL injection. SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. It happens when an application does not properly check the user input before running it as part of the database query. Attacker can insert malicious SQL code into the input fields to manipulate the database. This will allow the attacker to view the data that not normally able to retrieve, including the data that belongs to other users or any other data that the application can access. So here is the SQL injection on DVWA. When we click the view help here, it will show us the information about the SQL injection that we need to know. Here, the objective state that it have 5 users in its database with IDs from 1 to 5. And as we set our difficulty on low level, it states that the SQL query uses raw input that directly controlled by the attacker. In this user ID field, whenever I give input within the range, which is 1 to 5, it will show us the user's information. But when it is outside the range, it won't show us anything. So to do the attack, first I will be using a basic SQL injection trick, which is 1 or 1 equals to 1, and I will inject this code in the username field. When I hit submit, the query will send to the database and it will show the information of the user. This works because 1 equals to 1 is always true, and if the application does not sanitize the input, this logic will force the database to return all rows and bypassing any username or password checks. Next, I will try to extract information from the database using a union select statement to retrieve sensitive information like password. So when I run this, we can get the password of each user. Hence, SQL injection attacks shows why it is important to validate and sanitize user input. Next, I will show you the second attack, which is store cross-site scripting, or also known as persistent XSS. This attack arises when an application receives data from an untrusted source and includes the data within its later HTTP responses in unsafe way. The attacker will inject malicious script into a website, and these scripts are saved in the database. When another user visits the page, the malicious script runs in their browser. To show you the attack, first I will test it out. I will put my name and a message to sign the guestbook, and you can see here is the output. If we put other name, for example hacker, but my message is script, and we will say you've been hacked, then sign a guestbook, and then you can see we will have the pop-up alert, you've been hacked. And if we go to other page and then go back to store page, you will see you've been hacked, the pop-up alert again. So every time we load this page, even though there's nothing malicious in the URL, here we can just send the URL to a victim and it will execute that code. Next, I will try to redirect the page, and so here I will not put any name, and we will set my script and set the window location equal to, and it could be a website of our choosing. So we could put in our domain localhost as we do our testing locally. So here we can type Python HTTP server port 1337, and you can see now we are serving our page. So then here we enter 127.0.0.1 1337, and we will have this query document cookie. If we sign the guestbook, you will see we have been directed to this page, and if we go to any other page, nothing happens. But when we go to our store page, you can see that it instantly been directed to our own website. And if we see our website logs, here we'll see that every user who visits the page will have their cookie log here. So why actually this can happen? This happens because the website does not sanitize input before saving it to the database or display it on the page, and it treats everything we put as normal text, even malicious script. Thus, to prevent stored cross-site scripting, developers should sanitize user input before storing it in the database, and also escape special characters when displaying user input. So that is all for my demonstration of SQL injection and stored cross-site scripting. In conclusion, both attacks happens because user's input does not check properly by the web application. SQL injection let attackers control the database, and store cross-site scripting let the attackers run harmful scripts on other users. So the developers should check and clean all user input and use safer coding methods which can make the web application much better. And that is all from me. Thank you.